Today on The Flush, we're hunting cover that might have double duty: Kansas ringnecks and Kansas quail.
How about that? We're hunting pheasants and we see more quail than we've seen for a day. Wow. Hunt 'em up, girl.
Flying quail to running ringnecks. Hey, Raven the Lab, we need you.
The Flush, presented by Federal Premium Ammunition and Pheasants Forever.
We're gonna go up here and go in and locate, and then we're gonna hunt, come back to here. Oh, Stevie. That's Stevie. That's Mark's 8-year-old Brittany. This is Hattie. Hattie's a 9-month-old setter. And this is 8-year-old Ike.
Time to meet Ike, an 8-year-old male English setter.
Thought it'd be fun to name him after the president that's from Kansas, so went ahead and named him Ike. He will cover some country, really honest on birds, has a good nose. What he doesn't do is retrieve. He doesn't have much interest in them after they've hit the ground.
When a quail hunter loses a hat to the wind, what can it mean? It means you've come to the yellow brick road in the great state of Kansas, home to miles of quail hunting country, wide open spaces, and
Prairie chickens! Prairie chickens!
to paraphrase Bob Dylan, everything's blowing in the wind. Tough wing shooting conditions for sure, but it is what it is. We're here, 4 of us: Jordan Martinez, who works with Pheasants Forever, Mark Walker, a Kansas quail zealot, and me, plus Tom Turner, who is Mr. Quail in these parts around St. John, Kansas.
What's that, Tom?
That's so much for the wind going down. It's come back up.
And that makes it that much more difficult for the dogs to scent because the wind is sweeping scent away, but keep hunting. That's why they call it hunting.
Up next was a surprise.
Yeah, this dog's on point right there.
You know, it takes a lot of training to get them to point an owl, Tom.
Seems a quail dog doesn't much give a hoot about owls. And the quail? Well, they were into a windy disappearing act. Time for a new plan.
This is about the time you wonder, do I really hate the quail this much? But as like Tom said, nature's not helping us here. The wind is pretty bad. Humidity is down to 30%, he said. Tough sending conditions for the dogs, and so far we've bumped a few coveys. Nothing's holding tight, no good points. We had one good owl point. The owl was pointing the quail, and they both got away.
Moments later, when the camera wasn't looking, my partner Jordan bagged the first bird of the day.
Bird! One in the bag.
I didn't see it fly or die. Was this a terrific shot?
It was okay.
Huh?
I surprised myself.
Was that a fast flying bird or slow?
Well, it did have the wind at its back, so it was moving a little bit.
Okay, we'll give you a brownie point then for that.
Well, you know, nobody else saw it, so I'll take as much credit as I can get.
It may have died of a heart attack.
Birds in here.
Hey, Tom, my friend, save your breath. On a day like this, you can't even say quail quick enough to shoot.
Bird! Bird! Ron got one bird! Bird! Got one down up here.
Whoa! What was that? Holy cow. That was very exciting. That's the true definition of quail hunting. All hell breaks loose. And you never know when it's going to happen. It's a hen. Quail's got light tan cheeks versus the male has a white ear.
Maybe we changed our luck a little, huh?
I think so.
Yeah, that's what we needed, a change of luck.
Yes, sir. A guy could walk here for the rest of your life. Big country.
Coming up, a change in scenery, a little less wind, and presto, we got quail.
The Flush, brought to you by Federal Premium Ammunition. Every shot counts. Benelli, Polaris, Waltons, and by North Dakota Tourism.
In south-central Kansas, wild bobwhite quail still rule the roost.
Absolutely. Quail are native here. They're, even as the Lewis and Clark came, as the early settlers came, there were quail here.
At the moment, it might have been easier to follow Lewis and Clark. We were spinning our wheels in the search for quail. Time to meet Pearl. Pearl is a 7-year-old female American Brittany.
Her grandfather was Blaze Dakota Trucker, a Hall of Fame dog, a national field champion. Pearl's hunted in 6 different states. She's my favorite because she does it all.
Our hunting companion showed no signs of quitting, and neither were we. Finally, Jordan connected.
Got 3 bob whites.
Let's go find some quail.
And go we did.
Let's just change our luck here right now.
Minutes later, Tom the guide found a nifty sign that quail were nearby.
This is a quail roost here. They like to roost on these these little hilltops. This is an old quail roost, but showing where they've circled up and covied at night. And it's a home base for a covey quail, which obviously less than 100 yards from here, we got them up. So that's the way it works.
I'm looking for Ike. I haven't seen him in a while. He might be on point somewhere.
Waiting for a point. That's what quail hunting is. Waiting for a point. Then all the fun begins.
The point, however, turned into a false alarm.
Well, the dog was flagging on top of the hill right here, and I thought I saw one go on point. And then about that time, I saw a single quail get up, and then about 5 or 6 more follow it. So there was a covey. They were working there. Yeah. Hopefully we can pick up a few more.
It's a tough hunt. You know, not having been here before, I have no idea what the quail population is, but this is big sky country. And almost everywhere you look, quail could be there. We've been looking a lot of places and not finding them. The sunny conditions are really bad, and I'm guessing that's the cause of it all. Hope so. Always tomorrow.
Oops, another point. Maybe.
That's a practical joking dog.
Clearly, on this windy day, the quail were winning the game.
Well, it humbles you for one thing.
Yeah.
You can't be out here being a cocky dude with quail jumping and flying away. So you got a little humility.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it, you soon will get it.
When a bad day of hunting ends, what's an upland bird hunter to do? But remember the good days with guns and dog. Tomorrow, I was sure, would be one of those. Well, when we come back, can our Kansas hunt get any tougher? We didn't think so. But you know, living out here in 1860, now that was tough.
The Flush, brought to you by Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks and Tourism. Birchwood Casey. Pierre, South Dakota. Carlson Choke Tubes. And by Rough Tough Kennels.
Quail hunters weren't the first to explore the Kansas grasslands. In 1860, the U.S. Cavalry built this fort named after Colonel Benjamin Larin. The fort was strategically placed along the Santa Fe Trail to protect settlers on their way west. No wars were ever fought here, and less than 20 years later, the fort was no longer needed by the U.S. military. Today, it's a National Historic Site and a lesson in American history.
He was stationed at Fort Riley.
Our native bobwhite quail, come to think about it, also are a lesson in history, and we are starting a new chapter.
We're just gonna head straight along here, guys. Let's just work this, just a narrow area along the fence row here. The birds are gonna be in this, eating in the food plot here.
That was the plan, and the plan seemed to be working.
I should have shot. Oh, I had a quick shot that I should have taken it, but you know, my other mark is in there somewhere and I don't know where he is, and I don't like that. Better be safe than sorry.
Clearly, we'd stumbled into a quail hangout.
Tom knows they're here, but there goes something.
The one and only.
Damn it, they're too low.
Thataway, Ron, you flushed that one.
Here's one thing you learn about quail hunting. Is they always live where the plants aren't always friendly. Like, look at this little guy here. Locust tree, well, he's not real friendly.
No, this gray stuff's what's friendly. This is the western ragweed, and that's what the quail feed on, actually. That's the real buffet for the quail right there.
Here, huh?
Yeah.
Our quail frenzy soon ended, however. A warm day in January is not what a quail hunter orders. The dogs needed a break, and so did we.
Oh, wow.
Up next, a change in pace, a Kansas combo. flying quail to running ringnecks. Hey, Raven the Lab, we need you.
You go pheasant hunting and you find quail.
Great hunting stories begin with great habitat. Join Pheasants Forever today to help us create more upland habitat for the birds. Sign up at this special web address below and you'll receive a 1-year subscription to Pheasants Forever Journal. Plus, this Pheasants Forever edition Browning double blade knife with the collector's tin. Sign up today to help us create healthy habitat and abundant wildlife.
There's one right there. Oh, wow.
Today is a new plan. We're hunting cover that might have double duty, Kansas ringnecks and Kansas quail.
Here they're getting up now. Here it comes. We better hunt this out.
How about that? We're hunting pheasants and we see more quail than we've seen for a day. Wow. Hunt 'em up, girl.
A flush of a covey of quail sends the adrenaline through you. But the more you do it, I'm addicted. I have to hear that flush of a covey of quail every once in a while.
And these plum thickets are good for all kinds of wildlife. These little nests there. Atta girl, atta girl.
There's a Kansas rooster.
Yes, sir. Mark got him. Good shot, bud. Good retrieve, Raven. You'd drink it all, wouldn't you? We gotta save some. It's got warm out here under the Kansas sun. Yeah, you got warm. Okay, here we go. Let's go find another pheasant.
Okay, ringnecks, game on.
Go, come here, quail!
Okay, quail, game on. Gosh, we were into flying quail and running ringnecks.
What do you think of that?
Covey of quail.
I'm looking for pheasants. You're all tuckered. Can't get close to these guys.
Huh, it was time for Plan B, or is this Plan Z? How about a cold dawn?
It's a good, cold Kansas morning. Maybe we'll get some roosters. So these are some of the early CRP mixes, and they're mostly switchgrass.
I think my shooting eye is frozen.
Oh, come on, Raven. Catch him, atta girl. Good girl. Good girl. Well, that was a race, a dog pheasant race, and fortunately, the dog won.
Yeah.
And you're shooting, you know, to just barely touch them like that without hurting any meat? Is that a skill?
You know, it is, and normally I don't do it because the pointing dogs aren't as strong retrievers, but with the lab on the ground, it takes a lot of skill, Ron.
Well, that's enough BS for this moment.
No matter, it seemed like we were into birds big time.
Wow, Kansas ringneck. Look at the pretty feathers on it.
Yes, late season ringnecks always pose a problem. That is, flushing wild. They're veterans of this hunting game, and they're wily.
Good girl, good girl. You killed him too, didn't you? Yeah. Good job, Raven.
Thank you, Raven.
I don't know if she's gonna catch that bird.
She's cleaning up my messes this morning.
Somebody has to.
As we kept walking and pushing birds, I remembered what Tom had said. A few years ago, this field was birdless.
It was purely farmland, and we planted these buffers, and now we have birds here, where there was absolutely no birds before. And it's habitat, creation of habitat, and that's what makes a place for birds to live and thrive in.
Being a lifelong Kansan, I'm a little partial. When we have good conditions, we still have a lot of habitat on the landscape, and we can have good production for both pheasants and quail. You want to come somewhere and be able to see quail and pheasants and prairie chickens all in the same place. Kansas is the place to do that.
Ah, yes, Kansas has it all. When the birds fly and the wind blows, it's a wing shooter's perfect excuse. Yes, I missed. Dang wind,